Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about my writing, reading, and other goals for the month of October. Now, I haven't done a monthly goals video in a really long time because at a certain point, the way I was doing goals started making me feel bad. But with my new method, I wanted to try doing these kind of update videos so that I could revisit them at the end of the month and see how it worked. So this is kind of like partially checks and balances and partially just like for fun to hear what your guys' October goals are. But before we get started, I do want to say that this video is being sponsored by Skillshare, so I'll be sure to talk about them later on in the video. But let's go ahead and get right into it with the writing goals. Now, you might have already seen my most recent video regarding my NaNoWriMo project, Project Death, in which I calculated how many words per day I'm gonna have to write in order to meet my goal by the end of November. October's really pulling its weight. But for a quick refresher, or in case you haven't seen that video, my goal is to not work at all on the weekends. So once I took out those days and any travel days, which there are none in October, but because this is a multi-month project, I took the whole thing into account. So for October, I have 21 total work days for all of my projects, but also for Project Death. And doing the math and how many words I think Project Death will be in order to hit the finish line on November 30th with all my fellow Nano Rebels and Nanoers alike, I will need to write 2,500 words per day. 2,500 words every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that is goal one. My second writing goal is I have started a new romance novel that I'm working on. Not a novella, not a short, not a novelette, an actual novel length project. And currently I'm just setting the goal at 500 words per day. I've been doing 500 a day in September, so I'm hopeful that, again, 21 work days, 500 words, yes. And after that, I have no additional goals. No set in stone writing goals. And of course I want to make progress on some projects that I'm working on that aren't either of those two, but that's kind of one of the things I'm trying to take into account this go around of setting goals, is it's okay to make progress on some things without it needing to be a goal, if that makes sense, without having to set hard and fast deadlines on every single project I'm working on. So while I'm still working on the Buddy Thieves project, the D&D novelization with my brothers, and I would love to start getting the first couple episodes posted, and I'm still working on some other romance shorts and everything sort of in between there, other projects along the way, anything I get on them is just great. Good. Between the 3,000 total workday count, I really don't think there's any point in stressing out about the other projects. In fact, one of the methods I've gone through is basically writing down all of my goals that I might potentially have, and then just crossing it through so that each category only has like one or two things. And the one or two for October is the romance novel and Project Death. Those are the forefront and the only set goals I have. Now again, 3,000 words is going to be a lot, but I'm hopeful that it's doable. Those aren't necessarily crazy numbers, but it will be a little bit of a push. And now I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. For those of you who don't know or haven't heard about Skillshare, it is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people, with topics ranging from interior design, photography, goal setting, freelancing, fiction writing, and a lot more. Recently, I took Productive Prioritization, Tools to Build Your System from Brian Servino at Trello, and part of that lesson actually inspired the way that I am now goal setting, or at least attempting to goal set, when he referenced the 80-20 rule in the segment about how to prioritize. Now, I've heard about Trello before, I've used them a little bit, and of course I've heard of the 80-20 rule, but thinking of it in terms of goal setting was like a game changer. I don't know why I didn't really consider that before. So basically 20% of your goals or your tasks are going to have 80% of the impact, and that is why I'm focusing on narrowing my main goal list rather than keeping it so broad and including every goal and that I get overwhelmed by. I focused on the romance writing goal that will have the biggest impact on my finances, and the Project Death writing goal, which is one of the projects I'm farthest along in and I'm hoping will have the biggest impact for the Kate Cavanaugh pen name. Another class I also really loved, especially during the Ray Bradbury experiment month for me, was writing character-driven short stories by Yi-Yun Lee. I really loved Yi-Yun's emphasis about how a character's problem should not be the story's problem, so I would really recommend that class as well. And Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, which means there's no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And the first 1,000 of y'all to use my link in the description down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring your creativity today. Now let's get into my reading goals. The AuthorTube Chat book club club pick of the month for September and October is The Girl from the Well by Ren Chapeko. So I'll absolutely need to read that book. I also want to read The Lottery by Shirley Jackson so that I can do a Cooking with Classics episode this October. It has been a hot minute, but that is a short story, so I'm hopeful that it'll be very fun. We just got our new oven today. I'm so excited. So all of the cooking, all of the baking, all of the book novel reading, yes. And then my friend and I are buddy reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. We both read Beach Read kind of together and loved it so much. It was the first book that I read this year, and so I'm excited to see how the next one follows up. A funny story about this book, or rather the buying of this book, was that I was actually looking for a copy of Beach Read because one of the rules that I've set for myself on my book buying ban which needs to be in quotes at this point, is that I can only buy books that I've read and I've loved and would reread again. That is my rule because, as you can see, there's really only like the bottom shelf space left. But unfortunately, my half price books did not have Beach Read. It did, however, have People We Meet on Vacation, and the crazy part is I've only ever really seen this in hardback, so to see it for $7.99 was insane. And in fact, the lady working the front counter, I brought the book up to her, I was ready to check out, and she's kind of doing that thing where you're just like, you're going through the motions, and she's like, okay, is this all for you? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And how did you find this easily? Yeah, I found everything I needed. And she looks at it, pauses, looks up at me, and is like, I bought this book last week. She'd been searching for a paperback for forever because apparently half-price books, they only allow employee discounts on paperback, not hardback or new releases kind of thing. And so anyways, she's like, I spent, you know, $16.17 when it would have been $4 or something with a discount. The only thing is there is a little bit of like pin, but really not on the rest of the book, mostly just in the front there. Anyways, I'm assuming that's why it was so discounted, but my hope is that I love it just as much. And even though it was, you know, $8 something with sales tax, I was convinced after having read Beach Read that I will love this one too, so yes. And while I do have other books that I would like to read, I am not setting any sort of goals for that. Dune would be really cool. I checked it out on like multiple different formats, both the audiobook, the ebook, and we have the paperback now. I have The Feather Thief and The Girl with Stars in Her Eyes checked out from the library, which I would also really love to read, but not setting any goals on those. I can always check them out again later. And then we get to my other goals. Normally this might include some traveling or anything like that. Really, I kind of just want to make some new recipes or some old beloved recipes that I haven't been able to make with our kind of not really functioning well oven. So now that I have the new one, part of this will be checked off by doing the Cooking with Classics, which I'm excited for, but also it was my goal before I hit 30 to be able to like cook a 6-course meal or a 5-course meal or something. I don't have a whole lot of months left, so it would be nice to get on that. Really, I just want to make cheese bread and macarons and the things that I haven't been able to make without a functioning oven. And then my other goal is a running related one. I am training for a 10K, training is in quotes, that I will be running at Walt Disney World for the Food and Wine Festival. I'm so excited. Conned my parents into doing it with me. It'll be very fun. The boyfriend, while he's going, does not understandably want to run with us at like 4 in the morning. But what I have been doing is running 1 mile, 1 timed mile each week. I'm trying to get faster. I am quite slow. It's fine. In order to run the mile straight, I have to go quite slow. Then I am walking a 10K distance at least once a week and timing that as well, though that's not really as important. I just want to get used to being on my feet in that kind of pace. And then I want to continue to do my couch to 5K. That one I go a little bit faster since I know how it breaks along the way, but that's my goal. I have completed couch to 5K before, but it's been a really long time, and just with the summer and everything else, I had to restart it. I talked before about my love of running. Once I get to a good enough point at running, this part right now is kind of a struggle. But my love of running has really helped to show me that even though you might have to quote unquote start over to build yourself up to pace again, you're really never starting over completely. I have a lot of baseline still and kind of the mental confidence that I can get there again, and that is worth a lot. So I feel like that goes for writing and any of these other things as well, so that even if it might be start stop sort of ways, goal setting could be one of those. Even though it can be kind of start stop, I know that this next time I'm attempting it in full, there will be improvement, so that's really exciting. I will have learned from the last time. So I have my running goals, my reading goals, my writing goals, a little bit of a cooking goal, and I'm not going to set an official goal, but I do want to attempt to make some clothing that I'll wear as we get into spooky season. I bought a lot of spooky fabric. I now have my own sewing machine, so it's time. I'm gonna start with something easy, but something that I can use and that I made myself. So that's gonna be it for me. Please do comment down below. Let me know what your October goals are. Let me know what your October reading goals are. Let me know what's on your TBR. Let me know how your October writing kind of feeds into NaNoWriMo if you're participating. And let me know whatever other October activities you have in mind, whether that is like seasonal activities that you want to do or, you know, kind of loosely set goals on hobbies that you've started. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and once again you can click the link down below to get your free trial of Skillshare, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye!